everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and right there, right over there,
right
is
here,
Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, Pete Wright.
Hello, Nikki
everyone.
Kinzer.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's delightful to be with you again today.
Today.
Have you noticed traffic is getting better?
That's a really strange observation. No, I haven't noticed.
It's the annual, this is the annual awakening of summer traffic schedules for us. Like our daily route in the morning, as of this week, things get easier.
Because you're not having to stop for the buses and such?
Well, it seems like they're starting, we've got some, things are starting to slow down. People are happier when the weather is nicer. They drive more fluidly into town. It's just, everybody's nicer right now, and I'm just really celebrating that.
I agree.
Oh,
I'm so nicer.
Nice. You are nicer. That's
yes.
right. You're nicer. I'm better looking. Come on.
Hey, if people need to see your beard.
It's pretty rugged. I grow hair.
You're
hair
an
on my.
Old man,
I
Pete,
do.
Right?
I grow hair on my face like a Wookiee, and it took me about 3 days, and I have a full beard, and it's all white. Yes, that I did not see coming. Big surprise. Well, we are talking about clutter.
Yeah. I know,
week.
Exciting, right?
I think it is. It's sort of back to our roots, but this time we're going to take on clutter from the perspective of ADHD, and I'm very excited to talk about that. But before we do, head over to TakeControlADHD.com and get to know us a bit better. You can subscribe to the show for free in iTunes. If you're looking for any of our organizing back episodes, you can always get those on the website. They're also on SoundCloud, so you can do your due diligence on old organizing stuff, and call us 503-664-4ADD. Get your voice on the show, or join the conversation on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD. I think that's it. Here we go.
Good job.
Let's talk about clutter.
Clearing clutter in a hurry. That's what I like about this. It's in a hurry.
Well, I'm really glad that we're talking about it, because I will tell you, like I go through these sort of cleansing benders.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, and I have been through one fairly recently. But as I opened up Evernote to look at the show topic that we're talking about today, I did one of those slow, dramatic kind of tilt pans of my head around the room, and I noticed my office is not looking as pristine as it once was. There are like a couple of days worth of mail on the desk that are kind of scattered. I've got some papers that I usually scan really diligently, and I've just sort of let it go. And I think it's because the sun is out regularly and the traffic is so nice that I'm now focusing on other really pleasant things than actually getting my work done. Clutter, to me, can become invisible.
Oh, yes.
And I think for me, that is I know that it can become invisible to everybody, but I think that's exacerbated by the ADHD stuff.
Well, and what a great description, invisible, because it really does that it does become invisible because it's not really necessarily something that you want to do.
Yes.
And, with ADHD, if there's not a high interest level, then it can become invisible because you're going to be, more pulled to the things that you want to do. And summer and sunshine can kind of be a double-edged sword. Some people may say, well, that really motivates me because I really, want to be outside in the garage working.
Yeah.
Or
who are those people? Weird.
Yeah, weird. Or it could do the opposite of, well, I would rather just really be outside and working on my garden, and, I don't care about the clutter that's in the office. But yeah, invisible is a really great way to describe it. And I would say that overwhelm is a word I hear often with people too, when it becomes, or overwhelm when it comes to organizing in their homes and just sort of clutter in general, not knowing where to start.
Sure.
All these things.
And once that first pile comes up and you just get kind of, it bears down on you, the weight of it. And you think, oh, that's when it becomes sort of allowed to be invisible.
Yes. But it's invisible, but yet at the same time, it's still weighing this toll on you, right? Because it's that stress and just knowing that it's there. It's still kind of cluttering up in your mind, even though that may not be specifically what you are thinking about. It's still there. It's still back there. So yes, I have some ideas of clearing clutter in a hurry. I just love that title for some reason. On our website, there's this new worksheet that's called, I think it's organizing tasks you can do in 15 minutes or something like that. And it's a whole list of different things that you can do in 15 minutes or around 15 minutes. I didn't actually time myself, so give me a little bit of grace there.
Yeah, right. It is in the bundle, the worksheet bundle, 15-minute organizing tasks. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And the whole point of this worksheet and the point of me titling this podcast, Clear Clutter. See, if you say that too many times, you're going to get tongue-tied. Clear clutter in a hurry is to actually break down the overwhelm that people are feeling, because sometimes we just start too big. If we think that we want to organize our kitchen or organize our garage and we're looking at it as sort of a whole, that's when it becomes really overwhelming. And so we want to think really small, and thinking small means you can do these things in a hurry and can do them in, around 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Yes. So
where do I start?
Well, I'm going to talk about the first 4 ideas that are on the worksheet. And then you guys, if you're still interested in this idea and this concept, then I certainly encourage you to go visit the website and download those documents so you can see the rest. But my first idea, and this is something that I love to do, especially if you have a family, get your family involved, is to do sort of like a clutter race. And you set the timer for 15 minutes and you just put away as many things as you can before the timer runs out. Right?
I love it. Yeah.
It's fun.
No, it is. We do that with music. We don't use a timer. We have one song. Somebody gets to pick a song.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun too,
Totally.
Especially if it's an upbeat song and people are dancing around and making it fun, so that it's not that, chore that you dread. One of the things with this clutter race is that you want to make the easy decisions. So if you are getting stuck and you're not sure where something goes and it's taking you longer than a couple seconds to figure it out, I'm actually saying leave it for now. Don't focus on that. This clutter race, this 15 minutes, is just really to be focused on the things that have a home. And it's really fun. I mean, it really is amazing to kind of see, wow, my living room looks so much better when, the dog toys are put away and the blankets are folded. I mean, it's just those simple things that can make a difference. So that's the first idea.
Perfect.
Okay, now going smaller than a room, but still probably a little more challenging than just the clutter race, is sorting and purging a drawer. So what I am typically...
Just any drawer, right?
Any drawer. Typically it could be like a junk drawer, or if you have like a bathroom drawer that has like, for me, makeup. I don't know. Pete, do you wear makeup?
No, well. I do have a rather disastrous bathroom drawer, and it's gotten to the point where I don't even open the drawer anymore. I just take out the 3 things that should be kept in the drawer, and I leave them on the bathroom counter, because I know
Lovely.
if I put them in the drawer, I'll never actually find them.
Yes. Well, that might be a good drawer for you to try this.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a drawer that's bugging you. Could also be, I have an example here of the nightstand. Sometimes our nightstand drawers can get kind of stuffed with books and notes and things like that. So just dump it out, decide what you want to keep, what you can get rid of. It should only take about 15 minutes. I'm not talking about a big drawer that, junk drawers can even probably take longer than 15 minutes, but just something to get you started. And as soon as you are able to kind of see what you don't want anymore, then you can organize the drawer back with more intention. So that this is the bathroom drawer. This is what I want to be in it. These 3 important things are going to be, really easy for me to access. If you don't want them on your counter, it's perfectly fine to have them on your counter too. Just want to put that in there. But then you're done. So, and that gets you started. So, we're thinking about, oh gosh, I want to organize my kitchen. Well, you know what? Just start with the drawer. Just start with the utensils drawer. Or I want to organize my bathroom. Just start with that drawer. Just to get you started and get you kind of used to the process, which I think is, a good thing.
I love it.
There you go.
Super useful for me.
Okay, so tidying up your front entrance.
This one I'm even more excited about.
Yeah, this is really interesting because this is the first thing that you see when you walk into your home, right? So what kind of impression does it leave for you? I mean, are you happy to come home? Is this like a peaceful place, or is this like, oh my gosh, it's a disaster. I'm stressed just even putting my, step in the front door. So we need to take some time, just a few minutes, to put your shoes away, your coats away, do a quick little purge. Like every once in a while, I notice that the shoes now don't fit the kids. They've outgrown them. So, do a quick little purge or whatever. Backpacks go on the hook, or, things like that. So it's just taking a few minutes to tidy up that front entrance so that when you leave and you come back in, you actually have more of a peaceful feeling and not so, chaotic.
You know what it is? For us, the kids come home from school and they walk in the front door, they take their shoes off because they know they're supposed to take the shoes off and not traipse dirt all over the house. And they just leave them right there. There's a shoe rack right on our inside wall, right? You walk in the door, there's a giant shoe rack that you just take your shoes and put them on the shoe rack, but they don't. And once one person does it and leaves the shoes kind of in the entry hall, everybody just kind of starts doing it. You slip your shoes off because you think, okay, I'm gonna leave in another few minutes, and then invariably you don't leave, and suddenly you have a giant pile of shoes right next to the shoe rack. It is so infuriating, but there is such an enormous sense of peace and satisfaction when the shoes are out of the way and you can actually walk into the house without having to risk twisting an ankle. I would extend that not just to the front entrance, but to your main entrance.
Yes.
Because our main entrance is not the front door. It's the garage. And the garage is a mess. I mean, we actually have another shoe rack, and yet there's a giant pile of shoes right outside the door. And so you're always sort of tiptoeing through stuff to get to the cars and get in and out. So I think that is a great tip. Keep your entrances clean.
Well, and it's interesting because as you're talking, I have a question about the shoe rack. Is it a traditional shoe rack where you actually have to take each shoe and put it on its own little rack?
No,
like its own little thing?
Know what it is? It used to be a toy frame, and so it had buckets in it. So there are like three wooden dowels, right, that would used to hold these buckets. We took all the buckets off, and they hold shoes perfectly. So it's four levels high, and each of us has a rack on it. Each of us has a row, and so we just put our shoes on the thing. It is a perfect shoe rack for us. And when our habit is good and we think, okay, it takes an extra 2.5 seconds to take your shoe, loosen your shoe on your foot and lift it up to put it on the rack and then release your foot. Like it's not a hard thing to do. It's just something that we get sloppy about.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I ask is, and that's great that it works that way, because those shoe racks that have the individual little racks that you actually have to take each shoe and put on, it's almost like that's too many steps for some people with ADHD. I know. And even though that's really simple, it's still too many steps, and it's just easier to slip the shoes off. And what we've done in our house is we have a shoe bin that's one of those ottomans, like those long ottomans that you open up, and then we just throw all the shoes in there. So they're literally granted, it takes a little bit more time when you're looking for something and it's not just right on top, shoes are flying in the air, right. but they go back in really easy. So my point is that just make sure whatever shoe system you use, that it is a simple one and easy, because if it has too many steps or it's too complicated, your kids aren't going to do it. You're not going to do it. It's not going to work. Right. So anyway, the other thing I was thinking of when you were saying the back entrance, I totally understand what you're saying, because we walk through our garage too, and there's these steps from the garage into our house, because there's just, a few steps you have to actually go up. And it drives me crazy when there's a lot of stuff on the steps. And a lot of it is my stuff. It's not just my family. Like if I have the trash, and if I don't want to go all the way outside to put the trash in the bin, then I will just put the trash on that front step until I go outside. But sometimes I don't do that, and you still have to walk around the trash, Right. And shoes, like if the shoes are muddy, they won't go into the house, but they'll just end up being on the steps. And I mean, all this stuff just like collects. And so even just clearing that staircase can make such a difference to me of walking into my house. And so definitely, whatever is going to help you have more peace of mind, I think is great. So yeah, very good.
Totally. Okay. It's very feng shui too. I think there's a feng shui thing.
Probably.
About keeping your entrances clear.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's not, there should be.
There should be. Somebody write the feng shui guy.
Somebody write that. Yeah. Okay, so my fourth suggestion on the worksheet, and this is a big one for so many people, and in fact, you even mentioned it at the beginning of the show, is going through your mail. And, it becomes invisible. And I have a little mail basket that says mail on it, and it can become invisible to me too until it gets really full. And I'm like, oh man, there's got to be something in there that I should know about.
Totally.
But this is a great little thing to do for 15 minutes. Set that timer, or like you said, do the your favorite song, or even if you just want to watch TV, if you've got a TV show, a 30-minute TV show that you want to watch to pass the time, whatever it is, it's going to help you do it. Just take a stack, few pieces of mail and get through it and just go through it. 80% of what we get, we don't keep. I mean, we end up recycling it and shredding it. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it. And I think that the nice thing about breaking this up into 15 minutes is that it's not overwhelming, because you're not organizing your paper. Right? You're not setting up new filing systems. You're not doing anything at this point.
Given today's mail, you're probably just recycling stuff.
Exactly. That's all you're doing. Yeah. But just that little step is one step farther than where you were, earlier in the day when you were just sitting there staring and looking at the stacks of mail. So it's just getting started. It's looking at that point of entry that's easy, and hopefully will continue to build that momentum to keep you, to keep doing it. But that's it.
That's a good one.
There
well, you just gave the first 4 off of the 15-minute organizing task, and I want to give my favorite.
Yes, please.
And that would be down the page a little bit. Go through your car.
Oh, yes. I just did that last weekend.
Let me tell you, and I think that there is probably science to back this up. Clean cars are faster than dirty cars.
Really?
That's my thing. I really, I'm at such a sense of peace. And I don't know. I know, many people don't, particularly people in our fair state have given up on the cars, and that we have such a pretty good public transit, and downtown is so nice. But for those like me who spend a lot of time, too much time in our cars, it really can add that unconscious, subconscious stress when I get in my car and I have to dig through the trash and the old Starbucks cups and the receipts, parking receipts, and just stuff that I have just thrown in the seat, or even worse, when I'm take somebody else in the front seat with me, and you realize, oh my God, I have a week's worth of junk sitting in that seat that I don't think about, and so for me, it is so embarrassing. I get such a sense of satisfaction when I clean out the car. And again, it doesn't take very long if you just put a little reminder in your system that says, hey, have you cleaned out your car today?
Yes.
It's so much easier to build that habit of, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take this Starbucks cup with me when I get out of the car and throw it in the trash when the car is clean, because it stands out.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I was just having this conversation with a group of moms the other day, and we were talking about our homes and, when unexpected guests come and, everybody kind of gasps. But I'll tell you what happened. And I'm so glad you brought this up about the car. I was more embarrassed last week when a girlfriend of mine hopped in the front seat of my car, because we were waiting for school to start, so our kids were still with us. Mm-hmm. And so she hops into the front seat of my car, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's so messy. And it's, just excuse the mess. And I was, for some reason, more embarrassed about the car than having the same week, having somebody come over unexpected to pick up their daughter and see my messy house. The messy house didn't bother me as much as the car bothered me. And I don't know what that says about me.
What is that all about?
Know.
Right.
I don't know why that is, but it is how I felt. I was really more mortified about the car than I was about my own house.
That's
I don't know.
Funny.
So that weekend, I cleaned my car.
It feels so good.
It does. And it is. It's nice to go in and have it. And you're right. The coffee cup, I got it because I didn't want to leave it in there.
Yeah.
And when the kids are in there, I'm like, pick up your stuff.
Yep.
I just cleaned the car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They get it too. Building good habits, you role model you.
Yeah, well, Now, this week I am.
Well, I love it. And I think these reminders for, dealing with ADHD, you got to fight the invisibility thing. And that's certainly a big one for me. So,
and just with that, to kind of repeat and summarize what we said, it breaks down the overwhelm, it keeps it not being invisible, and it breaks down that overwhelming feeling into these small little things that you can do, and you can do it in a hurry.
15 minutes or less.
Right. That's right.
This has been a great conversation, Nikki. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for downloading the show and listening and subscribing for free again on iTunes. We encourage you to do so you don't miss a single episode. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll catch you next week on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.